Welcome to my channel where we uncover the secrets to stop dieting in a way that is fun, that stops you feeling out of control around food, and to make the life that you dream of a reality. Today I'm going to explain what intuitive eating is and what it definitely is not, but also how to actually get started and succeed on this intuitive eating journey. If you're ready to learn all of the good stuff, give this video a thumbs up and let's get into it. So what is intuitive eating? I teach my clients that there are three core pillars: trust, respect and embodiment. Trust is the aspect where you're tuning into your body. You're truly listening to what does your body want? What does your body need? That is the trust piece. You trust that when your body gives you a cue, it is being honest with you. So being able to tune in to your body's wants and needs is a key part of intuitive eating. It's intuitive, it's in the name. Secondly, respect. Respecting your body, respecting its wants, its needs. Every day requires a different amount of energy. If you're moving more, if you're working harder, if you're using more brain energy, that is going to require different amounts. So you're gonna eat different amounts. And that is exactly what intuitive eating allows you to do. Allows you to eat what your body needs, both physically and psychologically, to satisfy it. Both its wants and its needs. And you're respecting that. You're saying, do you know what? I trust that you're going to give me the right cues, and I respect that each day is going to be different, so I'm here for it. Finally, embodiment. This is where you appreciate every single different aspect of your body, exercise and food. For all three of those, they each have a physical element, a social element and a psychological element. Food is not just fuel. Exercise is not just physical. All intuitive eating is doing is getting back in touch with how is this serving my body? How is this serving my health? How is this serving me psychologically? How is this serving me physically? How is this serving me socially? Because, come on, let's be honest, food is a social thing. So, what is intuitive eating? It's tuning back into your body's wants and needs, both physical and psychological. It is understanding that each day requires different amounts of energy and you respecting that. Finally, it's acknowledging all of the different functions of food, your body and exercise which play in together, and saying, I am here for all of them. I'm not just here to make my body skinnier. I'm not just here to make myself smaller. I'm here to fulfill and live in the healthiest way that I possibly can for myself. So that's what intuitive eating is. Let's talk about what it's not now, because sometimes it gets a little bit confused. But we're gonna bust all these myths and I'm gonna share with you exactly what it is not. It's not something that you can do right or wrong. So there is not a correct way to intuitive eat, because it's so individual. It is to every single different person's needs, requirements, wants, expectations, and it changes every day. So there is no right or wrong. There's only right or learning. And I really want you to remember that, because as we'll get on to, when you start to learn about that a little bit more, and when you start to remove that judgment, that is going to open up all of this beautiful world of intuitive eating. It's going to allow you to fall back in love with yourself. It's going to allow you to trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, possibilities are endless. So what is it not? It's not a way to stop yourself from eating too much. As I've said, energy changes day in, day out. Some days you're going to need more energy, some days you're going to need less. Some days you're going to feel that psychological need for food. It's not going to be physical, it's going to be psychological, and that is completely okay. Sometimes, and I've seen plenty of coaches selling intuitive eating as a bit of a lamb in sheep's clothing. No, a sheep in lamb's clothing. What I mean by that is they're dressing up another diet as intuitive eating. This is not what it's all about. No, it's not. I refuse. Intuitive eating is about learning to listen to those cues. You are sometimes going to eat more than feels comfortable because of the social setting, because of the psychological need. That's okay. Intuitive eating, as you start to learn and to embody it, is all about accepting that and realizing it doesn't have a huge impact. Because what happens when you're on a diet, you go along like this, you eat a lot, and then to compensate for that you like dive down right below where your normal neutral line is. So then, because you've dived down so far, you have to go back up again because your body's like, I need to keep 0.0, I need to keep this level of energy. So then you have this spike again, which leads you to force this compensatory behaviour. And you get trapped in this. What you're going to recognise with intuitive eating is that actually, as you go up like this, you're going to go up like this, and then you're going to go like this. And it's going to start to look like this rather than this, which here, yeah, it may feel uncomfortable. It may feel like you're a bit more full, or you're feeling uncomfortable a little bit in your skin, but what you're going to realise is that that doesn't last forever. It doesn't. It lasts for an hour or an afternoon or an evening, and then you wake up the next morning, and because you've not done this huge peak and trough, you're like, oh, actually, I feel okay in myself. I feel okay in my body. Things are all okay. What it's not a permission slip to binge forevermore. And this doesn't mean that it's something that you have to control. This is something we explore quite deeply when I'm working one-on-one with a coaching client. It's not about saying I'm going to stop myself from binging. Intuitive eating is about saying, if I binge, that's absolutely okay. I fully accept it. And that acceptance piece is going to rewire your mind. It's going to rewire your brain, and it's going to form a different route that says, actually, food is abundant. We can have it whenever we want. So when it does come along, I don't need to eat all of it because it is going to be there again. The flip side of that, when you're trapped in this yo-yo dieting cycle, is that the food that you want comes along, and if it's been physically or psychologically restricted, your brain goes, holy cow, this is the only time we're going to have this opportunity, let's eat it all now. Imagine. It's going to be scary. Imagine in prehistoric times not thinking that you're going to get a meal again. Of course your brain's going to take full advantage of that. So being able to fully accept when you're eating more that you would want to eat than you would want to eat is going to fuel this new belief and this new way of being that is intuitive eating. So intuitive eating is the most efficient and successful way to tune back into your body's wants and needs in a way that satisfies you both psychologically and physically. But how? Like, we're all excited for the how. 3 ways that we're going to do this. Number 1, and actually before I get into that, I just want you to stop, take a breath, and recognise that you have the power to do this. You are capable of doing this. Anyone is capable of doing this. And you have to have that faith in yourself. It's no good saying, yeah, I'm going to do this, but I don't think I'll succeed. Fake it until you make it. Because faking it, there is science behind that. And that will be another video completely, but faking it creates those connections, creates that belief system. So, number 1, release all judgment. There can be no judgment. No, 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 no judgment possible. Because when you judge yourself, you add another layer to your thinking that makes it difficult to unpick. When you hear that judgment creeping in, I want you to turn to it mentally in your head and say thank you, no thank you, and then get back on with what you were doing. Whether that's eating, moving, sleeping, doesn't matter. Thank you, no thank you. Number 2, if you're starting out with this, and this is something that I see so many coaches fail to recognise, if you're starting out, you have to have structure. Diets are a comfort blanket of structure. Even if you're not following them every day, they're there knowing that yes, I can follow that, I can tick that box, and I will be doing a good job. You need to replace that structure in some way. And with my coaching clients in Break the Binge, what we do is we look at what are the foods that you're currently restricting, either physically or psychologically. How can I put those into my week? Firstly, you're reducing that restriction mindset because you're adding them into your diary, but you're also providing that structure. You're giving yourself that comfort of saying, here is a tick box that if I do succeed in completing, then I can give myself a pat on the back. And this is such a simple way to start making that transference, because it does feel scary, it does feel overwhelming, but having that structure is a comfort. And finally, number 3, rewrite the rules. So we all have rules that we follow subconsciously. Get curious about what your rules are. Is it that you don't allow yourself to eat after a certain time? Is it that you're viewing some foods as good and some foods as bad? Get curious on those rules and then start unpicking them. Are they actually serving you? Or are they fueling this belief of kind of diet mentality? Getting really clear on those rules is going to give you that edge, that next step to be able to trust yourself, build that respect for your wants, and fully embody the intuitive eating approach. I really hope that you found this helpful. In the next video, we're looking at what binging is and why it can affect you and why you get trapped in those cycles. So if that sounds interesting, hit subscribe, hit the bell notification so you are the first to know when that video comes out. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all the best.